Hi, welcome back to day 11 of the zombie shooter I create. This time we implement some weapon damage logic. Last time we fixed a bug that caused the Nefmash bounce to be a little bit too close to the area here, so the player could exploit this as standing here and prevent him from getting attacked. So we fixed this last time by adding a bounding box that prevents the player to go there, so the enemies will not get stalled and stop reaching for him and attacking him. So we just prohibited the player to go to this area. The next thing we did was to add sound effects for the ammo and amp power up that the enemies spawn. The next was creating a little HUD widget for the player to know that after he collects the damage amplification power up that the enemy spawns, he will get notified with a text here on top that the amp is active. Maybe we change this later to something more visual. So like some effect when the 15 seconds of the amp is active, so the player knows it better. But for now that's okay. We added the amp and the ammo power up logic too, and for fun we tried out to add 2-player split screen. That could work out, but we had some issues in regards to the weapon meshes for the first person character. The attachment points were not where they're supposed to be, so reverted that. That was just a little test we did last time. Not last time, the day before, I think. No, it was last time. So damage was the schedule for today. So we need to implement for today. We need to implement individual weapon power. Like the shotgun has to inflict more damage than, for example, the bullets of an SMG or a pistol. So that's currently like one hit is the same damage for each weapon. That needs to be implemented this time. So weapon strength, so to speak. We have attachments for the shotgun currently, if we select it. So we need to take a look at that. I can show you what I mean by that. Let's go outside for a second and get the shotgun. So as you can see, this attachment, the silencer I don't want per default, looks cool, but the attachment should get added later on in the game, not right from the beginning. So we need to get rid of this too. So yeah, that will be the last point for today. And we start by looking at the AI character that is currently implementing some kind of damage logic for radial damage and point damage. And when we're here, we also clean it up a little. So we collapse this to a function maybe. Yeah. So this part should calculate damage for active wave. So currently the damage gets less and less with each progression of the player in wave. So if he's in, for example, wave 1, the damage is, so to speak, default and maxed out. And if we progress further in the waves, like for example the 5th wave, we reduce the damage by a certain factor, and that's what we are doing right here. So first we get the active wave in the level, and then we divide it by an arbitrary number of 1.5 that I came up with that worked quite well by testing. So this is the first step, and that will be the factor for the division of the damage received. So for example, you receive 100 damage, and then with every wave that increases, the number here gets higher and higher. So the damage gets lower and lower. with every progression of the wave. Yeah, I hope I did explain that somehow right. So the point is, if you progress further, the damage your weapons inflict on the enemy gets a little bit lower, and that's what we calculate by this here. And it's the damage factor. Yeah, it's the factor we add here below the damage. Yeah, and that increases and the overall value decreases. So let's copy this over to clean it up. We need to get an output float. And that's the actual damage factor. So the part that we divide by. So the received damage divided by this factor gets the current damage. Yeah, we need to hook it up here. So maybe we add this to this function where we calculate projectile damage. Let's leave it out there. So we can make this pure, I guess. So we just plug it in here. Yeah, basically this is now inside here, and we can get rid of this mess and just calculate the corresponding damage. Okay. Gets quite a mess pretty fast. Radial damage and point damage. Get the damage factor for the current wave, and we apply it here. Let's check this. So they handle project damage. Gets called for radial and regular damage. But why? So let's first take a look at what we do here. Okay, we check for the jaw, the left eye, right eye, the hood of the enemy, and the neck. So we can decide whether or not one of these bones got hit. So we can say it was a headshot or not. So we need to check. We don't have collision sphere separately for the head. So we check for the bone hits, and these bones, one of these bones has to be hit in order to make a headshot come true. And then we have a different sound and effect maybe than we have if we don't hit, like the head, which is the case down there. And then we call on the interface damage base class to inflict damage on the health variable in the enemy class. Yeah, that just reduces the current health by the amount you calculate here. For the headshot, I chose a factor of 2 to inflict double damage on the head. Because the enemies have so big heads, it's likely that you hit the head a lot, so we can't do it like in Black Ops, where you aim on the head and they almost always die immediately. So the heads are too big for the headshot to be lethal all the time, so I chose a factor of 2 for the damage of the head. So this part handles the power-up with infinite damage if the player has maximum damage because he collected a power-up amp, and then we inflict maximal damage. So we can just call this function maybe handle damage. Because we call it for both cases. And yeah. Now we need to work on maybe this part a little bit more, where we decide whether or not the player has active amp. We need to get his weapon and switch on the weapon enum so we can inflict more damage in regards to the active weapon. And we need to take a look at how to implement that. So maybe we do it just like we did in the weapon class, where we had a struct for the price. That's the weapon type of price. Yeah. Maybe we just duplicate it and have weapon like type and damage. Oh, we need floats for the damage, so no integer here. Since we got float values for hit event damage events, each weapon has to have like a damage amplification kind of. The handgun will stick to 1, like we stay just like it is. Shotgun has to inflict massive damage, so maybe we set it to 5. We need to work out how many damage we inflict per weapon. SMGs like the handgun, a little bit stronger maybe. The sniper has to inflict almost as much damage as the shotgun. Yeah, about 4.5 maybe. The grenade launcher. Yeah, pretty special weapon, also pretty strong. Let's make it a 6. And the assault rifle. Let's do this like maybe double the SMG, something like that. Maybe 6 is a little bit too much. 5.5 maybe. So these values get applied to the total damage before we call the health interface damage to inflict damage on the enemy. So these values are multiplied by the calculated damage we want to inflict on the enemy in regards to what kind of weapon he was shot with. So kind of the ammo type, so to speak. Rocket launcher, maybe make it like an, why not, an 8. Blast them. So take a look. Yeah. So let's go to the AI character. Maybe clean this up. Yeah, it gets pretty fast, pretty messy. We need the inventory component of the player, or the equipped, so to speak. And we cast it to the weapon base class. This above here. Damage. An auto format for blueprints would be really awesome. So So no headshot and no amp. So it was a body shot, that's down there. So if the event handled damage or the function gets called and the damage causer was the player and he's alive, player has to be alive. So we don't run this if he's dead. And he has not an active amp and not done a headshot. No, we need to hook it up before there. Yeah. Whether or not we take headshots. So let's first stick it to what we started here. Like we get the weapon from the player and the active ammo, and we switch on the weapon type. And we need damage of the weapon. So here are the damage values. Let's add a float to temporarily store the calculated weapon damage or damage from player ammo, or let's call it weapon damage like factor or something. The default is 1.0 like the handgun, and we set this value accordingly for all 7 weapons. Grenade next. And gun. Grenade launcher. Launcher. Last one is create a function for that. In goes the player character. Here. float. We want the damage, or we set it inside, right? Yeah. So this needs to be returned. As a float. What the hell? And that I want to return. Each path has to be returned, so we don't use the wrong damage values. And if we initially run this function, we should reset to 1, so we don't use old values. But it's locally, so it has to be reset anyways. So I don't have to do that. Okay. So this decides whether or not what kind of ammo type, what damage inflicts on the player, like the damage factor, and returns it with each branch here. And we use it in the handle damage class. And we need it for each call before we call health interface damage. So, and only for the branches where we got the player. This one, these twos, this one. If the damage causer was not the player, why do we add this branch? This must be wrong. Only the player can damage the AI, so we don't need this. Right? So we always have, from this on, a valid player reference. We can call it right before health interface damage gets called. We don't need it here for the maximum amount of damage applied, but we need it here too. So whether or not we take damage on the head for the enemy or the body, we will calculate the corresponding damage for the weapon we use right now. So I think we multiply it by the factor that we got from this function and then hook it up. And here with factor 2, do the same, we multiply. Oh, that's already a really high damage. What can we do here? Headshot, damage. 2 times the actual damage. What we could do is to add the calculated value to the damage multiplicator for the headshot, but that could be too high. Maybe we multiply this with the damage instead. So if the player gets, if the AI gets hit in the head, we use the value of 2, add the damage of the active ammo type. For example, for handgun it's 3. Then we get out a 3 here and we multiply it by the active damage that was applied to the AI. This could be too high, but yeah, this could make the headshot too powerful. Nevertheless, we have the ability to decide whether or not the current weapon takes more damage than another one. So let's see. Let's maybe print this out if this cast fails. Just for debug. Okay. If we broke it or not. Handgun should be, as always, for the first wave. Every bullet is lethal, and then it gets weaker and weaker. Maybe add a debug right there when we do damage. That was a body shot. Ammo type was handgun, right, for 1.0. The damage that I made was 70, so we get out the same value and apply the damage. Okay, good. Same for the headshot, I guess. So we have the multiplication factor for the headshot of 2, that's fixed. Then we have the damage coming from the handgun, that is 1, as we said earlier, and we multiply this, and we add this to 3, so we add this up, and that's the new multiplication factor for damage, so it's now 202. So, maybe that's too strong, but we'll see. So for the feed, I need 1 shot, right? In this wave. Or 2. 1 or 2, depending on the health of the enemy. Some got a little bit more than the others. Let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. They take 3. The bold guys take 3, I guess. Shot. Yeah, weapon. Yeah, we don't need a breakpoint. So let's see. These have more health, I guess. Headshot, headshot, and I don't know if this guy has a headshot zone or different bone structure than the others. Need to check that. Okay. Yeah. So 1, 2. Pretty fast guys. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's change to the assault rifle and try 1. Okay. More damage, I assume. 1. So assault rifle had, I guess, like 3 or something damage. Now we could just debug it again. For now. Oops. Alex. 140. Ammo type. Okay, 3. And this is 46, so he gets a damage of 140. That kills him. Okay. So now different weapons affect the health of the enemy differently now. Oh. God. No headshot, okay. Still the 3. Okay. Yeah. Pretty strong. Maybe too strong. Yeah, heavy. Way stronger than before. A little bit too strong, I guess. Let's see the shotgun. That has to be the strongest one for bullet weapons. The one shot should kill them all. No? Did I miss? Let's see. These attachments do not make any sense for a shotgun. Pretty heavy, yeah. Works. So, try out. Okay, strong. Kind of like it, since it takes so long to reload it. Yeah, it's pretty strong.
Max ammo.
Kind of works now with the shotgun. Previously it was not that great because the reloading times are so heavy and the damage was so low that you almost could not use the shotgun. Now it works better. Yeah, I like it more. But we need to find out if the damage is too high that we selected. But that's a balance act. Pretty heavy. Shotgun is almost too strong. But somehow fun. This guy, man. Great, great. Yeah, cool. I like the shotgun now.
Max ammo.
Okay. I died. Oh, there's something wrong with this counter here, I assume. I did not kill 172 enemies. But the wave was correct. So let's rename it. Okay, looks good. I consider this point done. Okay. Save all. We added this to the version control. Now it's done. Now let's see why we got always one attachment for the shotgun. We selected. We got this class for spawning weapons. And this path. We use shotgun here. This one. Oh. Do we have an attachment? Hmm. Oh. Look like that. I'm looking for the attachment settings of the shotgun. Maybe. Maybe change it to the tactical one. And hope this has no attachment. That would solve the issue right there. No. No. Lag. Let's